You say anything to get elected.
Well, actually, I have been very consistent over the course of my entire life. I have always fought for the same values and principles, but like most human beings, including those of us who run for office, I do absorb new information. I do look at what's happening in the world. Take the trade deal.
Oh, I think that everybody is in favor of free and fair trade, and I think that NAFTA is proving its worth.
I have been a critic of NAFTA from the very beginning.
By saying her rival's universal health care plan is wishful thinking.
People who have health emergencies can't wait for us to have some theoretical debate about some better idea that will never, ever come to pass.
I know that we can finish the job of universal health care coverage for every single man, woman, and child.
LGBT Americans are our colleagues, our teachers, our soldiers, our friends, our loved ones. And they are full and equal citizens and deserve the rights of citizenship. That includes marriage.
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman.
Yes, I evolved over time, and I'm very proud to state that I'm a full supporter of marriage equality right now. Yes, I evolved over time, and I'm very proud to state that I'm a full supporter of marriage equality right now.
Do you think New York State should recognize gay marriage?
No.
No. Okay.
All right, so here I go. Here I'm going to ask you a question, and first of all, I should preface this. I don't know if you know this, but I am gay.
What?
I get accused of being kind of moderate and center. I plead guilty.
I take a backseat to no one when you look at my record and standing up and fighting for progressive values.
For the record, are you a progressive or are you a moderate?
I'm a progressive, but I'm a progressive who likes to get things done. All my grandparents, came over here, and
Turns out only one was an immigrant, 3 were not.
The server contains personal communications from my husband and me. The server will remain private.
Only time I got on the internet, I did 2 emails. Otherwise, I didn't want to.
So it is with conviction that I support this resolution as being in the best interests of our nation. I've made it very clear that I made a mistake, plain and simple. We're either going to be dependent on dirty oil from the Gulf or dependent on dirty oil from Canada.
I think it is imperative that we look at the Keystone Pipeline as what I believe it is, a distraction from the important work we have to do to combat climate change, and unfortunately, from my perspective, one that interferes with our ability to move forward to deal with all the other issues. Therefore, I oppose it.
We are making progress toward finalizing a far-reaching new trade agreement called the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The so-called TPP will lower barriers, raise standards, and drive long-term growth across the region.
now looking back on it, it doesn't have the results we thought it would have in terms of access to the markets, more exports, et cetera.
In favor of allowing the Keystone XL pipeline.
Well, this is President Obama's decision, and I am not going to second-guess him because I was in a position to set this in motion, and I do not think that would be the right thing to do. So I want to wait and see what he and Secretary Kerry decide. If it's undecided when I become president, I will answer your question.
Any vote that might lead to war should be hard, but I cast it with conviction.
Look, I know that there have been a lot of questions about Iraq posed to candidates over the last weeks. I've made it very clear that I made a mistake, plain and simple.
Your husband received $800,000 for 4 speaking engagements, ostensibly in support of the trade deal, or by a group that supports the trade deal. You've given your own money to your campaign. Is that a conflict of interest? Is that a conflict of interest?
I mean, and how many angels dance on the head of a pin? I have really nothing to. I mean, how do you answer that?
When asked whether she supports a proposal by the New York State governor to issue driver's licenses to illegal immigrants,
I certainly recognize why Governor Spitzer is trying to do it.
First she said this.
It makes a lot of sense. What is the governor supposed to do?
5 seconds later, this.
Do I think this is the best thing for any governor to do? No.
Unless I missed something, Senator Clinton said 2 different things in the course of about 2 minutes.
I can't tell whether she was for it or against it.
I remember landing under sniper fire. There was supposed to be some kind of a greeting ceremony at the airport, but instead we just ran with our heads down to get into the vehicles to get to our base.
But those of us on that trip recall it differently. Instead of running for cover, Clinton was greeted by a schoolgirl who read her a poem of welcome. Accompanying the First Lady, Chelsea Clinton, singer Sheryl Crow, and comedian Sinbad to entertain the troops.
I represented Wall Street as a senator from New York.
You are not for Glass-Steagall. You are not for putting a firewall between this speculative, risky, shadow banking behavior. I am, and the people of our country need a president who's on their side, willing to protect the Main Street economy from recklessness on Wall Street.
Speeches for Goldman Sachs. You were paid $675,000 for 3 speeches. Was that a mistake? I mean, was that a bad error in judgment?
Look, I made speeches to lots of groups. I told them what I thought. I answered questions.
But did you have to be paid $675,000?
Well, I don't know. That's what they offered. So.
No, we can make our education system work for every one of our children.
New York has spent a considerable amount of money and effort devising very good tests.
I will end the unfunded mandate known as No Child Left Behind. I do not believe that our children are little test takers. And I do not believe that our teachers should be nothing but test givers.
I don't think you should be getting paid that much, honestly. You're already a wealthy person. Why do you need more?
Higher education shouldn't be a privilege for those able to afford it. It should be an opportunity widely available for anyone with the talent, determination, and ambition to learn.